Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Wise One channel. I am your host, Caren. Welcome. How are you doing? I am asking welcome. Are you welcome? Do you feel welcome, dear? So my phone is, I don't know, it's going to die. My microphone is going to die. Don't die me. Or is it this one? Hold on. Let me look. Let's turn this off. It says it has 100% battery, so I don't know what. Okay, hopefully it won't reconnect thinking, oh, there must have been a mistake. All right, good morning. So we are crocheting on this Monday morning. More of our blanket. We're on our winter colors because we're going to do seasonal colors from Lions brand yarn. That's acrylic yarn that I think I'm still using acrylic yarn for this blue. I have this cute baby ice blue, snow blue, something. I don't think snow is blue, but anyways. But yeah, so I'm on the half double. I do a double crochet row, and then I do a half double crochet row after incrementally increasing my rows of single rows in between my double half doubles, all US. Okay, because it's us. It's interesting. The USA is sometimes shortened as a reference to the US. United States of America is sometimes shortened to United States and abbreviation, and that's the same as the English spelling us. And for somebody who totes around that we're the US, we are actually very independent and not as community oriented. There's not as many us that I'm finding. Yeah, I'm sure it's there. I'm sure I'm just not being exposed to as much us thinking people in the US. We're very independent, nonconformist, anti-conformity. Yes, individualism, which has pros and minuses, pros and cons, plus and minus aspects, positive, negatives to that type of thinking. Let's see. So I did a single, so I'm like 4 or 5 stitches in, and I did a chain. I'm about to go for another half double. I find that if I chain one in between the thingies and am I doing every single stitch? It looks like I'm doing every single stitch that I can find. The doubles were every other stitch. Okay, so I did that. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go into the stitch I find. Can I move into that stitch? I don't think I can move into that. I don't think that's a stitch. I don't know what that is. That doesn't let my hook through. Okay. And then I just pull all the way through and a single chain over, pull in, grab my thread, and then pull all the way through. Yeah, and that's relatively fast. I think that's what I did previously yesterday. That's how I ended it. So that's how I'm going to continue it. We'll see. This is such a pretty, it's like baby blanket blue. I think it's what's for. I don't know if it's acrylic, but I think it's 3.5 weight or 5.3 weight. I think it's either a J or an I hook. I don't know. I'm not being very professional here. So I could write down a pattern, go along with what I wrote down, try it again, and see if I can reproduce. That would be the scientific method of trying to figure out what I'm doing right now. because I don't know what I'm doing right now. The fun part is a pattern, you don't really have to know what you're doing. You just have to be doing it and trust that you're doing it, and the pattern emerges. So, like, I've got a part in here that I did the double stitch, or the treble stitch non-US. I did a double stitch in every single stitch below, and it turned out pretty, but it's the only one where I didn't skip a stitch and then go into the next stitch. Um, so if I incorporate that in the next, and so, like, say when I get to the white for my winter, I'm gonna use blue and white for my winter colors and the seasonal blanket. So I've got summer colors, I've got fall colors. I'm moving into these bright, and these are all pastels until I get to the winter colors, which is a big contrast, and then the spring will be pretty and pastel again, pastel colors. And I'm using those cakes and bundles from Lion's brand that have multicolors in them, except for the winter colors, which I just have a skein of two blue skeins and one white skein, so I'm going to sandwich those colors. And I'm on the first blue. So doing that, I'm going to continue these half doubles. Did I chain? I don't know if I chain one. Here I am. There we go. Okay. And then I can get boring with the ADHD if I'm doing this right. If I get up to speed. But yeah, so after so many doubles, so I'll do maybe another, because I'm going to start decreasing the amount on the other side of the blanket. Decreasing the amount of single stitch rows. Yeah, so it'll look like it's a pattern. I think I tried this because I'm trying these experiments to see what I can do with the least amount of yarn. Like, how do I make a big old fluffy blanket with so little yarn or in so little time? Because I don't like doing these. I'm impatient. I'm an impatient person. I'm trying to learn patience. So, trying to learn patience and consistency, which are not traits that I practice, but they're human. We benefit from developing those skills if we don't already have them. Okay. So, yeah. Pause to process. Breathe. So I dreamed. So it's okay. Do you call it a recurring dream if the same theme is there? You're in the same kind of place. You're doing the same kind of thing, but things change in the scenery, and the maybe it progresses, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's rather strange. So I'm this African princess, which is strange because I have rice-colored skin. I'm basically, I'm a little rice. Yeah, a little rice. Yeah. I'm your cupcake color. Your cupcake vanilla frosting color. Yeah. I'm your vanilla flavored looking. Yeah. I don't know how vanilla is white when the actual vanilla and vanilla bean are not white. Oh, but yeah. So, which is interesting because that one I didn't. Okay, I didn't chain one, and that looks like a muddled mess. So I definitely need to chain one in between each stitch. Okay. So I dreamed this dream that I'm in Africa in ancient times, and that I'm this ancient African princess because I'm an entitled little butt. I don't know. I don't know where my subconscious is coming with this. My inner goddess is like shining through. So, eh. And I don't want to be sacrificed to become the goddess. There's this ritual, and I'm in charge of gathering all the components of the ritual so that I can be sacrificed to summon her back. And they're modern times, and it's been forever since the goddesses walked to the earth, and people have forgotten her. And so it's in this time and space in this world that people have new gods and new. Is that right? That is getting wonky. I don't know what I'm doing. Uh, I'm forgetting to chain. I'm probably forgetting to chain. And so the stream progresses fairly quickly, but there's all these elements, and the priest is giving me this list, and these aren't exactly readily available items for me to be able to go gather. There's certain ruby, and it's not just like, oh, grab a ruby. It's this ruby. It's a certain size and a certain history. Don't go in. Remember how they made that today. And I'm trying to read this wall of ancient writing, which nobody speaks anymore. And this is still in ancient Egypt. Like, they're gonna bring this goddess back, and she's going to cleanse the earth and make sure that the feminine, the disease issues are totally cleansed, and that people's angers are quelled and calmed, and bring back the animals once more, the fish and the animals and the greenery and the plants once more to this desert. I'm like, oh, like, don't want to go, but apparently something worse happens to me if I don't. No, it's not me. It's my family. Something worse happens to my family if I don't go do this. And apparently, I love my family, which I do, more than myself. And they'll never, they'll die instantly, and then they won't do their tasks for making it into the afterworld. And I'm buying this hook, line, and sinker, and I'm determined to do this. And I have my inner voice of modern me talking, this is insane. You don't have to do this. This ritual can't be real. This guy's just nuts. And I'm telling myself, but my family is real, and they would really hurt my family. Oh, and so this is like this crazy dream, and instead of a giant pyramid where you walk up, it's like upside down. So you walk down into the what's the giant room called? The giant entryway. There's it's gigantic, and it's got pillars, and there's all sorts of stuff in there, and there's rare creatures that I had to find that would never, that I would never that are from faraway lands, that like different climates, and you have to keep them alive. It looks like there's a stitch I can't get into every other. And when I tried, apparently I try to get into some of those stitches that are difficult because they're wider in some places, and it makes my half doubles a little wonky. What is with this one? Like, did I skip two? I might have. No, I skipped. No, I did skip two. Now I have a hole. I have a hole. Yeah. Yeah. And so this ancient, so there's this ancient ritual and ancient thing going on. Oops. And these people are weird, crazy occult fanatics. And I mean, these tasks, this ritual, this is crazy. And I'm doing it, and I'm working really hard, and I've got the sense of urgency, and the cortisol's pumping like you wouldn't believe. Fight or flight, do or die. That's horrible. And I just, but it's so pretty. Like the wall of it's like a temple or a holy place that, like where she used to reside, her tomb, and of course they're not speaking English. This is all in some weird. I'm speaking English to the girl, and the girl is speaking English back to me, but everything else is in the other language with the hard t and the type sounds, and they're and the mms and and I'm like, really interesting. And it smells funny too, I smell what smells like frankincense and myrrh and some other and I recognize the sage a little bit, but there are some other smells. And the grease smells the weirdest when it's burned in the lamps. And yeah, so the opening is, in the middle of the night, the temples. I keep coming in the middle of the night to the temples, or when it's dark outside the temples and everything's lit up and it's warm. But remember the contrast of it being so much warmer in the temple than it is freezing outside. So I don't know. It seemed cool, but at the same time it seemed crazy, and I'm like, no, don't do this. Don't have to do this. And they're like, I have to protect my family. And like, so the thing is, the rule is I'm a priestess. Like, but there's this head priest. He's the scary occult extremist weirdo that's forcing me to do all this like some villain in a movie. And he really believes he's going to resurrect this goddess in all her glory. And she's going to take over my corpse. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is worse than the mummy because like it's real. Like it's not like, oh, some some actor like Brendan Fraser's gonna save the day, and what's her name? Mostly, what's her name? I love. I just remember her face. It's more my ADD than the importance of her role. And Brendan Fraser is because they popped his name up in bold print somewhere, and I just remember because I was trying to find more movies with him in, or I was trying to find Encino Man, and I couldn't remember the name of the word Encino Man or how to spell Encino Man. Because I was like, I had a mind blank, but I had remembered the name Brendan Fraser from the other movies he's in, and I saw his name. So yeah, I was like, I want to watch Encino Man. I never got the chance to watch Encino Man because it was on some subscription that I didn't have. So I miss Encino Man because I was like, because when you look back on certain movies and shows, because I'm like, I look on what was it that I was watching for the kids? It had a lot of fantasy in it, but it was a it was a Studio Ghibli show. I was like, they do have issues with tsunamis. It's very fanciful to have a fish, but tsunamis were a thing, or they had the blimps and the blimps were with Kiki. I was like, that those were some issues there, and then, but they have the fantasy of Kiki flying on a broomstick, and it's like it's so pretty. But I mean, if you look at the layers that is in our subconscious mind, because our subconscious picks all that stuff up, and then you know, when we're older, the choices that we make, the political choices, all that stuff, we've been fed a diet of certain opinions throughout our childhood and all our movie making. It's layered and it's spliced and it's entangled in so much stuff. Mhm. So, what we get a diet of has some results in our lifestyles. So, yeah, of what we're drawn to, of what we allow into our life and into our circle and to our experience and what we put back out. I mean, like, because we get more than just that in our life and our circle, but we're attracted to it and we keep it and we put it there. Whether or not we like it, the more exposure we have to a certain cultural thing or to a certain cultural, political, I'm just, if I like, if it's perfectly normal, we have like paneling. My parents would pick, I'd keep living in these places, these dark cupboards in the kitchen with white contrast, and like, I still live in. I still live in this kind of like dark contrast with the white stuff and with the white contrast walls and accent walls, or the accent so dark. Yeah, the accent walls and the accent thing is blank white, and it's so hard to maintain. I was like, no, I love natural wood colors. I love a lightened, brightened room. Um, but I would imagine that it does something with the temperature or it does something with the way the room keeps or something. But the dark kind of shrinks the room. Sometimes they have the big furniture, and I'm not one for the big furniture. I love to put big old accent pieces, like the huge. I don't use the bean bags anymore. I use those cut up couches or those cut up foamies. I love those leg scarves and these huge. I'm thinking about making them and these huge things, and you put those and plop those someplace and pop those up and things like that, so you can move them around. And then, because I like the floor space, for me personally, the more surface space to run around, to move, to plop your stuff down, the better. So, yeah, uh, I like it to look bright. I like it to look so that it catches the light, because I can't see and I'm getting old. The other thing is, I guess keeping it dark would keep it cooler looking inside. I don't know. But apparently I'm getting a migraine or headache. It doesn't quite sound like a migraine. I don't know where the pain is, but I've got pain. I'm waiting. No, it's a headache. It's a regular headache. A dull headache. Okay. Uh, so when I'm in shock, I have a strange thing that happens to me that is my normal. With my hearing impairment, I was in the sound booth a lot in the 80s. I don't know if I was in the sound booth a lot in the early 90s, but the hearing test sound booths that they used to give us for, that speech and throughout that, um, I don't know how much I was in there. Don't have hearing aids, but whatever Medicaid paid for, and so now, as to alert me that I'm in pain or that a nerve has been struck, like a nerve is inflamed or there's inflammation someplace or there's a type of pain. Depending on the type of pain, it's got a pain scale, I guess you can call it. So I have a pitch or a tone that goes off in my inner ear, and I can hear it inside my head. Sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the right. And it's like, I guess I'm going to assume people with tinnitus, a ringing. It's a type of ringing in the inner ear uh, that goes off. So it's an auditory hallucination. And I won't feel the pain, but if I hurt myself and I don't know the pain's coming like a migraine, but if I hurt myself, like hammer on the thumb, and it'll go off a very high pitch because it's a very intense pain, very sharp pain. So if it's sharp or intense, it's a very high pitch. If it's a throbbing pain, it's more of a low tone, and it's kind of like, and it goes off. And the volume, too, on the amount of pain, like if I have muscle pain or something, that'll go off. And then as the sound subsides and like kind of stops, um, it'll feel deafening. It'll feel very quiet if I'm in a quiet environment. And then the pain will show up. I'll be out of shock and I'll feel the pain. So it lets me know, it alerts me, pain, oh my God, pain. And then it's like screaming inside my head with tones and beeps. And then I feel the pain. Like I feel the headache. So it's the migraines are much higher pitch and and then I have problems with walking and moving my muscles and stuff and the talking and the light and all that. So this isn't light, um, the light's not making me nauseous. The sound of my voice isn't like, oh, with the stomach, making pain. My automatopoeias need work. I need to. If you ever figure out how to spell automatopoeia, get a hold of me. Figure out automatopoeia, how to spell automatopoeias, because I want to look up and have a on-hand list. So I also need to get a list of colors and codes, computer codes for it is squirrely for that. Yeah, it is much later in the morning than normal. Yeah, if you could ever figure out how to spell automatopoeia, I would love to learn how to spell automata. Ata is it A-T, ata, automata. Ata is it A-T-A, automatopoeia? Is that how it's pronounced? Because you got to remember, I have a hearing impairment, plus there's accents, which differ from state to state. So, my spelling or sounding it out is quite a disability. And then, yeah, so phonorifically. Plus, I've grown up in the US, which I'm guessing the UK has more phonic English, and then this intuitive Americanized English. So, hooked on phonics only goes so far. Then they have sight words. Yay. I think this one. Okay, so I think what I'm doing is above each chain. I don't think I'm going to every stitch because I don't think I can fit it into every stitch. So it looks like I'm going into the stitch above the chains. Oop, that's not right. Let's try that again. I have to go over my hook before I insert the hook into the chain, or into the stitch, the previous chain, or previous stitch. Did I chain one? Yeah, I think I chained one. I don't know. That looks like it. I don't know. Yeah, that's more uniform. It looks right. There's just a couple of spots that this half double is not working. There's a couple of doubles that apparently I skipped 2 stitches instead of 1, but it's turning out, and it's super soft. And I have a squirrel listening to me. If they can hear it, I don't know, through the window. I don't know, is that the mama squirrel? Anyways, they're eating peanuts. I've got a squirrel out my window eating peanuts. The pretty black squirrels. I like them. There's a gray squirrel around here somewhere. I don't know if they moved off to another region or if they're in the middle of like taking care of their babies. Chain one? Is this a chain one? That's probably chain one. Okay. So if I work on this, I can do this a bit faster. If I could just keep at this. So. Yeah, it's not hard. It's pretty fast. I wonder if they'll learn English. How long? It takes us, what, about 2-ish years to learn the English language from childhood? So, what, about 2 years to learn a language? So I should sort out all the languages I want to learn and then just keep at it. Because there's cultures that you have to learn, which I can't too well. Yeah. Rhythms, cadences, and tones, and apparently pitch. Certain languages move with pitch. I don't just mean a question. I mean, you change a word spoken, the same word can have opposite meaning. Oh, that's a baby's. That's not a mama's. That's a baby's. The little skinny little squirrel. Oh. Lippy. No. The stinky perfume. Scent. Smell. Yeah. It looks like it's a jumping I've been crouched over for I don't know how many days. After all that practice of pull my shoulders down and back to strengthen up my muscles. It does. Gives my muscles more strength. I'm almost out of breath. Oh, look at that. It's the bringing and the jumping and the dancing and leaping. And, oh, they're cute. They're so cute. I love the one that made the squirrel obstacle course. Like, I'm not trying to domesticate it, but boy, would I like. Okay, I don't. It's probably because I'm some rice-colored chick. We're horrible. I just got up with the moose. I love the little TikTok or YouTube reel or whatever with the lady at the Walmart with the moose. The moose was, it, oh, and the guy, there's this guy's like, yeah, get yourself a white woman friend. And she don't care nothing about the animals. And he's showing off this video clip of sorts. And check out, they just big old mouse, they'll friendly take you home, call you George, you're so cute. You know, something to that effect. I'm not quoting the guy because I can't recall. But yeah, he's telling about how we just super friendly with the animals. And we do. We love the animals. We're Dr. Doolittles. I just sit there and talk and I'm like, oh, it's just so cute, so baby. Oh my God. No. I do believe they have their own sense of self with their thoughts and uh, feelings and independent creatures, individuals. And but I'm like, I would love to just be more friendly with them. I mean, they're still wild animals. I don't want to bring them inside or nothing. You know, they have nice warm homes. I want them to make sure that they continue to build their nice homes for future generations because I'm not going to be around forever, you know. And I don't need a pet squirrel. I have 2 cats. But I love, getting to know the animals and getting to be their friends at least. Uh, they're fine in the big wide world. I mean, if they domesticate themselves like cats did, that's something else. But I'm not gonna sit there and feed. It buzzed. Okay, we should probably go to the library sometime this week. We may have books that are due. I'd like to just pull off the digital content. That might be easier for me. But then when I'm sitting there reading digital content, I want the physical paper content. And then when I'm reading the physical paper content, I want the digital. I'm never satisfied. That has its pros and cons. All right, so the blanket is turning out. And that dream, describing the dream, went a lot faster because there was a lot of details in that dream. That noise, that buzz. But the dream happened pretty much as quickly as I described it. But there were so many more details to describe, like the color of the lamps and the smells and the language. That's not my phone making the buzz. Where's the buzz? I don't know. There's a buzz coming from someplace. So yeah, I've been cleaning friend's house so that my kid's friend can have their birthday party at the house and have it, available for hosting. And sometimes a house isn't ready for hosting, but I'm trying to get my living space that I'm living in available for hosting it most oftentimes. And I think so that I can invite YouTubers to view my home, not to be in my home. I don't want to give my address, but eventually I'll be getting a P.O. box. And so, do I have a chain 2 or chain 1? I don't know. It's going. It's starting to go quickly. And I'm like, wee! Just throw that in there and loop it and hook it and do it and over and pull through and chain and in we go and pull it through and chain 1 and over the hook into the thing, into the stitch and snag the line and then pull through and chain 1 and then do it again in here because this, I don't know where this came from. This is the edge. We're on the edge. We're on the edge of the. We're on the edge. Oh my gosh. Okay. Pull through and stop staring at it so quickly where it's becoming blurry. I mean, I have glasses, so it's not as blurry as it could be, but I don't see that close. Like, let's try it close up to our eyes. No. All right. Ha 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 ha. I pulled through. All right. Chain 1. Oh my gosh. What? I don't know what that is, but hopefully it's a straight edge. Let's take a look at our rows. We're looking. These are not by any means professionally done. It looks homemade with all of the flaws. I love the flaws. I'm learning that human flaws are beautiful. Asymmetrical has its own essence, beauty, gluten, symmetrical beauty. Asymmetrical beauty is in the eye of the beholder. All right, I'm going to try to go in and do 2 or 3 stitches across so that I can check to see, so that I'm more likely to follow, like, what was I doing kind of thing. But yeah, this edge is nowhere straight. So when I go back around with whatever color I'm going to go, I don't even know which color is coming because I don't have any. Oh my gosh, I don't have any yarn after these winter colors. So these fold so pretty. I'm going to need a bigger container for my, yeah, I'm going to have to learn how to make baskets. But yeah, okay, so buttons. Okay, let's see. When I go into these half doubles, how many do I crochet every stitch into the singles? I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's one of those. Let's see. Looks like I double. How did that turn out? I double my stitches. Not double stitches, but I double the amount of stitches that go into every stitch of the half double, it looks like. Yep, it looks like I do a double. Do I do a double, single, double, single? Nope. This one I did a single. That didn't turn out. I'm going to have to try and follow the next one in the increments. So that, yeah, that looks like double stitch. Okay, so we're going to go into each previous stitch twice with our single stitch. I'm just going to go in through, and since that's on the edge and I chained 1, I'm just going to try this. So go in once, pull through, go in again, pull through. So I don't want it to do the smiley decrease, increase. Then second time into that same stitch, pull through a single Alright. Let's see, what is that doing to my edge? Is that straight? Is that pulling on the previous row, or is that, I don't know. It looks like it could be straight, like that's legit. It's cute. It looks somewhat oddly shaped. Let me try to move along this one. So in once, in twice, in through. Now let's try. Is that a stitch? Here I'm having trouble finding this next stitch. I think it's right here though. And then that's the first single crochet stitch, and then we go in again through the second single crochet stitch. Now let's take a look. That looks even. I'm getting better and better at this. So the only thing that, as long as I follow these strange stitching patterns, um, that I do to make them patterns, if I do them again after so many increments, it looks like it's what a pattern is pretty much called. It forms a pattern, and that's literally crocheting, is that you make a pattern out of the hook. So we are going to hold this up, pull this blanket up. Oh, look at all the pretty colors. Okay, I have some, like these rose pinks and these rose magenta. Then I've got a purplish color. I've got a sea blue, then a lighter sky blue, then a greenish blue, then a limeish green pastel, and a kind of a greenish yellow that moves into a kind of goldenish yellow and then turns orange. It's like slightly gold. It's not very gold or yellow. It just turns into a darker kind of yellowish before it turns into a burnt orange. And then we've got these weird orange colors, these pastel orange colors, and then they kind of richen into a what Sierra color, then a brick red, and more red, and then a light beigeish brown. No, a light brown, tan, khaki. No, I wouldn't call it khaki. I wouldn't call it beige. It's brown, tan. It's like a tan color, and then it's got a what would I call this color? I don't know, bronzish without. It's not very metallic, so it's not. And then it's got a oh, kind of a yellowish, goldy yellowish. So it's like bronze and then yellowish, goldish yellow, but without the metallic. It's not shiny. It's pastel version of bronze, and then pastel color of gold. And then it's got like a beige or tan or khaki, and that turns into this. Well, this pastelly kind of purplish kind of color that turns into a pastel plum color, which turns into like a strange brown dirt color, forest floor color, and then I've got it's a reddish. It's got a strange reddish tint just before I pop in the blue. So that's the color kind of current theme I got going on with my blanket. for my fiance. Mostly he's picked this up and bought this, so I'm just gonna, you want a blanket? Yeah, I'd love a blanket. And I didn't realize how many skeins and cakes and bonus packs of yarn you need for a blanket of the size that I want with the types of stitch that I want. That is the blanket that we have. I like it. I really like it. I love it. It's sort of like the whole I made it myself kind of pride. I mean, yeah. So it's got these rich pastel colors, and I like them. And it's pretty, it's soft, kind of. I don't know, it's acrylic soft, so it's not like the softest downy soft, but it's softer than I've lost a comparison word for softer than. So I'm popping this back into this little box. I've got some ramen noodles. I mean, like this ramen noodle pack of case of ramen noodles. So the ramen noodle box has the yarn in it that I'm working with currently. Put that back. Ah, it's a day. And I've barely done anything. And I gotta go make gnocchi. 7:30, so I'm gonna go try to make gnocchi. I did the dishes last night so that I would have counter space to work to make gnocchi. I bet you guys want to come along on a video that I edit. We'll see, shall we? I have no idea what I'm doing, but yeah. Yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, heavens, but I want to go back to bed. It's been a struggle. I want to go back to bed and recover from all the cleaning that I've done, but I haven't made it to Thursday. So Friday, I'm gonna have a rest day to recoup. So Friday, I don't know what I've got planned Friday, but I'm not doing anything Friday. I'm going to rest and recoup Friday for myself. Maybe arrange for the kids to go do something with somebody that they love and love to hang out with that I trust to be like, hey, do you want to go hang out with my kids? Yeah. Gotta figure out how to make money too. So I gotta start working at making money. I keep saying that I don't do it. It's like if it's work, it's a have to thing, and a have to thing is my PDA going, no. But so I'm podcasting and doing the social media stuff for free. It's probably why I'm enjoying it. And it's also easier. That's why it's unedited. It's because it's super easy. If I got monetized, I would pay for an editor to do it. Or I may get it to editing to the point that I like it. I don't know what older me has to say about that. So future me, older me, wiser me. I'm going to continuously get wiser and wiser. It's a huge spider. Clean the house more, dust more, vacuum more, something. I don't know. I've got cleaning and folding laundry and making gnocchi. I don't want to make the gnocchi. The gnocchi's I have no idea how long it's gonna take. I'm scared. I'm not. Italian grandma making gnocchi. Figure it out though. I'm gonna have to store it frozen. But I don't want it to go bad because I put egg in the dough. And I had too much water in it, so I've got to add flour. So I had to pick up the flour. It feels more steps and stuff than I like. So we're gonna We're gonna wash our hands and start the gnocchi. Breathe. Because I'm getting all anxious about making gnocchi. It's the repetitive. I am not. It's one of the reasons why I don't like Russians. The repetition. Repetition is not a happy place. I don't like repetition. I like new novelty. And maybe once in a while something aesthetic. Like I'll bring it back and it's aesthetic and it's pleasing and it brings back. I want to continuously drive some sort of connection, streamline, in my brain of, oh, I can make this in my sleep, and subconsciously I can make this as a secondary action. Which, for the amount of potatoes, they're like, oh, you only use, I cooked up like basically a 10-pound bag because it had to be fixed. So I was like, I'll just make this, and yeah, I miss gluten, and there's flour in this, like gluten flour in this. So I'll get away from gluten somehow. Somehow. Maybe I'll give this away to friends. Yeah. I have people that have helped me make things and helped me do things. Yeah, so I'm going to clean and organize and sort and do stuff. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to it. But yeah. Alright. I'll let you guys go. I will see you tomorrow. And if you've watched this, appreciate it. How do you interact on podcasts? I'm gonna have to watch the podcast as a podcast and figure out, or listen to it or whatever. YouTube podcast videos. I don't know. We'll look at it. We'll do it. I don't really like, because I've been taught that strange autistic weirdness is bad, so I'm trying to get over that. Don't be weird, don't be strange. Fit in. Mentality, fit in, survive, fit in is the only acceptable thing. So my strangeness, my weirdness that is blatantly obvious to me when I'm watching or listening, because my inner voice, my voice vibrating against my bones sounds so much better than that open sound of it playing back from a speaker. So my voice sounds better when I say it. Now, it's not that I enjoy the sound of my voice, but when I hear it back, it makes me cringe. Like, oh, that's so nasally, or it's an annoying pitch. So the pitch that I hear my voice at is a much calmer, lower pitch, and I have more authority sound. And I'm like, well, no wonder people ignore me. I'd ignore me too. The authority sound, the ones that vibrate. So it vibrates within my body. And I hear it, but I don't when it's played back through a speaker. So I have to get over the cringing part of listening to me speak and watching me where I'm like, oh no, that's not aesthetic, that's not pleasing, that's not, pretty. But, because you have to be that. That's what I like, that's what I have to have. No. So getting that cringe feeling, it's getting used to watching stuff even though I cringe, things that aren't harmful to anybody or anything. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Tell you how much I love you. See you tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. I will see you next one. Till next we meet. Love you. Have a good one.